Hello, welcome to episode 12 of Generation 2 of the Perfect Genetics Challenge. Looks like we've got a ghost story going on here. Little Daryl is telling the story. The founder of this challenge, his grandmother Olivia, is standing behind him, and his mother Cindy is sitting there listening intently, as is little Riley in the blue t-shirt. He is the imaginary friend made real of Daryl's sister Denise. And that's Denise standing on the chair holding royal court. And Mary is there beside her. She's the alien daughter of Don. And Don is the grandfather of Denise and Daryl. And of course Denise and Daryl are twins. They're the eldest twins of Cindy and her husband Bill. That's little Sonny. He is another alien child of Don. The Sims in this household all have maximised free will, and that is Bill, Cindy's husband, at the wishing well. And this is Cindy standing closest to us with the red and yellow hair. Now, Bill appears to be wishing for happiness. He does that autonomously. Yes, there it is, he's got happiness. I've noticed that Sims usually wish for happiness at the wishing well instead of going to bed when they're tired. Now we've got a group of Sims here learning logic while I try to discover potions. Barbara is the one in the corner. She is Mary's imaginary friend made real. They're both young adults and they're about to be moved to Vice City to live with Mary's older brother Martin and his imaginary friend Bart. They'll have their own houses. Vice City is fairly empty at the moment. It's only got 3 Sims living in it, Martin and Bart and Carolyn Price, who was a Sim that I used when I set up the world, so it could be used in this series of videos. I will be adding additional other worlds as well. The Sim on the left with the red hair is Paul Aohod. He is the imaginary friend made real of the alien Max, who is the Sim on the right. They're both teens and have got a lot of learning of skills to do before they'll be aged up to young adults and moved to Vice City. Max has already got to level 10 in logic, but there's a couple of potions that he hasn't discovered yet, so I thought he might as well discover all 10 of them. Then I'll get somebody else to come in here to work on the potions. Paul and Barbara will work until I've decided it's time to move them out. Paul will not necessarily get to level 10 in logic, nor will he probably discover all 10 of the potions, and the same for Barbara. They'll just go when I'm ready to send them. I'm just trying to get them as skilled and to learn as much as possible without keeping them here forever, because we need room in the house for new Sims to be born. The most recent birth was little Oliver. He's just recently, in the last episode, aged up to toddler. Mary's there just taking him out of his cot. He's had his sleep. His mother is the founder, Olivia. She's an adult, almost an elder. I think he'll be the last baby she has with Don, her husband. Little Oliver is the first boy born with his mother's hair colour. He can't be the heir, of course, because Cindy was her heir, and Cindy's already had her own heir. Mary, of course, is little Oliver's half-sister, because Mary's human father was Don, who is Oliver's father also. And so Mary's going to teach her little half-brother to walk, by the look of it. That's good. Of course, Mary and Oliver are not biologically related, because she is 100% alien. It's just that Don was abducted by aliens and he had an alien pregnancy, but he didn't supply any of his DNA to the babies. In the meantime, Carl threw a wish to learn the alchemy skill. He's the first of this household to show an interest in alchemy. So I set him to work reading about it, and then he wanted to make an elixir. And of course he only knows how to make one at this point, so he got the chance to make it. This was the first elixir that is available for them to make when they first start learning alchemy, and it only requires one ingredient. It's very basic and simple. I thought he can't get into too much trouble, and he had the ingredient in his inventory already. So he just got to work making a vial of bliss. Not sure what he's going to do with it. We'll see what he decides he wants to do once he's made it. If he gets to make it successfully, sometimes they fail. Be interesting to see what happens. Uh-oh, that looks like a definite fail. All that yucky smoke. So sad, he'll have to start all over again. He had a little rest and then he came back the next day to try again. Let's hope he does a bit better this time. At least he's gaining skill. He's getting better at his alchemy. I hope. He's learning something. That looks even worse, a fail. Oh, he's been turned into a toad. Not to worry, we can cure that, I'm sure. We just need to make a cure elixir, or is it something a little bit more complicated? For the moment, he's decided to leave alchemy alone and he's gone outside to watch Mary playing the guitar. She's got quite an audience. That's one of the townies beating up little lads. There comes Carl. He's still a toad. Wonder how complicated it's going to be to make him back to be a normal sim. Sort of. He's an alien, of course. An alien toad. Little Sonny, he's waiting to be aged up to teen. We might do that in the next episode. I don't think we're ready for him yet. And that little girl there in the pink dress with the long white sleeves and the bright pink hair and yellow hair, she is Cindy's little heir. She will be the mother of Generation 3. Olivia turned up just as Carl got the bright idea to go down to the room to work on some potions at the chemistry tables. And there was a bit of mayhem going on down there as well, which resulted in him quickly having to have a shower because he got singed. Looks like Barbara got singed as well. When Carl stepped out of the shower, Barbara went to have her shower so she could get back to looking for potions. Unfortunately, the shower did not cure Carl of his toadification. He's still a toad. When Barbara got out of the shower, she spun into her outfit and then had an evil cackle about Pat, who is now trying to discover some potions. There's no spare chemistry tables for Carl to get back to work. There's Carl's imaginary friend Pat over in the corner. He's working hard on discovering potions, as is Riley, who is Denise's imaginary friend made real. While wearing his new pyjamas, Don wandered into the nursery and found his little son, Oliver, had been placed in the playpen. So he took him out. While Oliver's in the playpen, he could learn to talk at the mirror, and he could learn logic with the abacus, or he could learn charisma at the mirror. But Don just wanted to hold on to him. So they had a little look in the mirror that's hanging on the wall, the one with all the monkeys on it. And then Don sat down on the floor with little Oliver, and they had a lesson on how to talk. So he's learnt to walk, and now he's learning to talk. While Don was teaching little Oliver to talk, some of the children and teens were having an outing to the graveyard. I know the teens were there at the moment, and the children have definitely been there. I've discovered that little Donna found a genie lamp, a magic lamp, when she was touring the catacombs. Got to work out what to do with that. I find children occasionally come back from a visit there with the lamp. I've been playing this game since 2009, and so far I've had 3 children come back from a visit to the graveyard with the lamp in their inventory. Or at least 3 children that I've noticed. I don't check their inventory every time that they've been to the graveyard. As a result, I'm not terribly experienced with dealing with the genie that comes out of the lamp. But I'm sure we'll work something out. I'm not going to do anything with it this episode, but sometime in the future little Donna, the heir for Generation 3, will have to get the genie out of the lamp. What's Paul doing? Hopping into the food truck. He must be hungry. I thought he would have got into the school bus with Max and gone home. Max, of course, was his previous owner before he was made real. Actually, I discovered Paul had jumped into a taxi and he was heading to the science facility because he had something to deliver. Don't remember what, but it was something that he had to deliver to the science facility to help his education. Probably a fish. And yes, this is the hospital, but it's also the science facility in Moonlit Falls. It's a combo rabbit hole hospital and science facility. And that is Performance Park that I've placed just across the road. That's a Showtime venue, and this is where Mary is going to come to ask the proprietor to join the singing career because her lifetime wish is to become a vocal legend. And that other building across the street next to the hospital and science facility is the base camp that I made and placed there to facilitate Sims travelling to other worlds and returning again to this world. And that's the proprietor standing, hopefully waiting for somebody to come and ask to join a performance career. You can become a magician, an acrobat, or a singer. That's the 3 performance careers that you can join. And here comes Mary, and she wants to join the singing career. Now, Mary is going to move to Vice City soon, and I wasn't sure whether I should let her join the singing career yet or wait until she moves. Because if there is no Showtime venue for her to sing when she gets to Vice City, then she'll lose any progress that she has made. So I decided that I would allow her to join the career at this point because she's not going to make any real progress in it before she moves. And it won't matter if she does lose it, because if she arrives there and she's still got the career, well then I'll know that there must be a venue of some sort in that town somewhere, and I won't have to go searching for it because it's packed full of empty buildings and other venues that are really just shells. But so long as it is designated as a Showtime venue, well then she'll be fine. The venues come with Showtime, and I've built my own venues a few times, and all you have to do to make it a venue, a Showtime venue, is to add a Showtime stage, and that will be available in, I think, buy mode. If I find there is no Showtime venue in Vice City when she arrives, well then I'll have to add a Showtime venue, probably have to bulldoze an existing lot to make room for it, and then she can progress in her career, because I've discovered that the Sims that you're not playing will progress to level 10 in any of the Showtime careers a lot faster than if you're actually playing them. And back at home, little Oliver is now working his way through his toddler skills. He's working on the peg box now, and there's the xylophone next to him on the floor. He's done his walking and his talking. He's possibly done potty training as well. He will definitely do the potty training before he ages up to child. And then when he's finished his peg box, potty training and xylophone, then he'll start reading the 9 toddler books. And there's his dad, Don, there happily standing beside him. And of course, once he finishes the peg box skill, he moves on to the xylophone to see if he can become a musical sim. Yeah, they do like to chew on that thing. Maybe he's teething. And here's Mary. She's just been to deliver a singogram to some sim in town. And here are 3 imaginary friends made real, working on their potions. Little Lance looks like he's had a bit of success there. To keep him at it though, make sure he's got a good logic skill before he becomes a young adult. He might even have a chance of discovering all of the potions. The other 2, of course, are Paul and Pat. It's Pat on the right. He's the one that was most recently aged up to a teen. We've got 2 teens and a child there working hard on their logic skill. It looks like little Lance is on a bit of a roll. There he is, another success. Just goes to show they don't just blow themselves up and get singed. They do sometimes succeed in making a potion. Oh, there's another one. Good on you, Lance. Meanwhile, up in the nursery, little Oliver has just woken up from a nap and he's getting some attention from his dad. And all his toddler books are laid out on the floor, ready for him to start reading. He's completed the xylophone and peg box and other toddler skills, finishing off his toddler training with some reading. Of course, I get them to read the books to themselves because I just find that I can leave them to that without too much trouble. It's just easier for me to do it that way with so many Sims in the household. I originally started doing it when I had them on shorter lifespans and I wanted the other Sims to do other things. But now it's just convenient to get the toddlers to read their books themselves. I get them to do other more interesting things with their parents and other household members to develop family relationships. Here's a few of the Sims just enjoying themselves. There's a little cat on the bottom of the screen. Barbara's bouncing on the trampoline. And that would be Riley on the swing. Looks like that townie has decided to fall over asleep. Must have got bored chatting with her. I think she's a townie as well that he was chatting to. Later on that night, Don came out to chat with Pip Goodfellow. He was the one that had fainted before with boredom. Riley climbed up into the clubhouse. There is Olivia running away. She's going to play tag with her little granddaughter. That's Debbie. But Debbie's decided she's too sleepy and she's just not going to go chasing, looking for Grandma. Riley's having a look around for aliens from the clubhouse. Barbara's had enough of the trampoline. And that townie has finally decided to go home. Mary's still wearing her outfit for the singing career. That's the introduction to the singing career outfit. She hasn't had any promotions yet. And she is practicing the guitar. She's got an appreciative audience of 2. Sounds like somebody's just made another potion downstairs at the chemistry table. Oh dear, Carl is still a toad. Don't know how we're going to fix him. Might have to get him to make a cure potion, see if that works. By now the shock and then the novelty of being a toad had well and truly worn off, and Carl was very keen to find a solution to his problem. So he set to work making the cure elixir. And he was successful, eventually. He had his cure in his pocket. Meanwhile, outside, Gator Wolf walked by, and some of the young Sims from the household were enjoying the outdoors and playing in the sand pit and the swings. Don was having fun in nursery with little Oliver. All was going well, except for poor Carl. He was still a toad. He couldn't use the cure elixir. He went down and sat next to Cindy and told her his sad story, and then he ordered a whole lot of new elixir recipes from the online store. He was hoping there'd be something in amongst them that would work. So Carl and Cindy sat in front of the empty fireplace and contemplated life. After buying all of those elixir recipes, Carl realised that he could have got the recipe he needed for free in the book just by reading it. To his dismay, he found that he needed a rare mushroom and he wasn't sure if there was one in the household. He went searching for it and he eventually found one. Fortunately, that was all he needed. So he set to work. And he eventually managed to make the potent cure elixir. He wasn't able to use this new elixir on himself, so he tried mixing it in a drink to see if that would work. But he couldn't drink it. Same problem had happened when he tried to drink the cure elixir when he mixed it in a drink. Looks like poor Carl stuck as a toad. Then it was time for graduation. Mary and Barbara needed to graduate We've been waiting for this graduation to happen before they could move to Vice City. I forgot to get Martin and Bart graduated, so I'm not sure what's going to happen with them. But at least Mary and Barbara are going to manage to graduate. I'm not sure what happened, but this graduation was totally messed up. But they did eventually both graduate, and each had a diploma, so I got them to toss their diplomas up together, and then everybody went home, except for Olivia and Don. I came across them standing on the footpath together. They seemed to be quite enjoying each other's company, and making sure the entire township, the entire world, knew all about it. I suppose they both knew that Don was about to leave home for a while because he had to escort Mary and Barbara to their new home in Vice City. And who knows what Sims they might come across while they were apart. So they're hoping that by getting themselves reacquainted with each other, that they might end up returning, that Don might actually come home to be with Olivia rather than stay in Vice City and live there on his own or with somebody else. Who knows what could happen? An even scarier thought is last time they got like this, little Oliver turned up. So, yes, who knows what could happen when this pair get going. Eventually everybody made it home safely, and then immediately Don set out for Vice City with the two young ladies, his daughter Mary and Mary's imaginary friend made real, Barbara. They're going to go and live in the same town with Martin and Bart. Martin, of course, is another of Don's alien children, and Bart is Martin's imaginary friend made real. They will arrive at the base camp in Vice City. That building is an apartment building that I edited and turned into a base camp so that they'd have somewhere that they would always arrive at when Sims visit this world. Mary set about telling a ghost story, and Barbara was reading when they got there. Looks like Don's having fun on the computer. It's a bit dark while this ghost story's going. I found an empty starter home opposite Bart's place in Vice City, and I added an extra story. That's Bart's car underneath his house there, and the house next door to Bart is where Martin lives, and the one next to Martin is where Carolyn Price lives, and she's the sim that I added to this world, so there'd be somebody in it. Now we'll have a quick look through Mary's new home. There's Mary playing the guitar in the backyard. I've moved her in, and I've upgraded things and added a bedroom and a couple of other rooms on the second level. Set it all up nicely, and I've emptied Mary's inventory into storage cabinets and containers, so she's all set now, and we won't need to worry about her unless she moves herself out and leaves everything behind, of course. I need to squeeze a spiral staircase so she could go upstairs to the new level that I added. There was already a bedroom in this house, but I decided that she needed another one upstairs. There was nowhere to put all of the things I wanted her to have if I didn't add the upstairs bit. But this is set up, so it should last her for a while. The rooms are a bit small, so it's really hard to show you around properly. As you can see, there's all sorts of things that she had in her inventory that I've set out on display. She even got a gnome when she was using the inventing machine. And that painting is there because it's got 10 environment points. And this is her bedroom that she's going to sleep in. She didn't get a really good bed, but I thought it's one I don't use often, so it's fun. And this is the new bathroom I made for her. I also put all new bathroom facilities in the one downstairs too, so she doesn't have any really cheap tubs or toilets that'll break all the time for her. And I've done a very similar thing in the house next door for Barbara. The only thing that I got wrong that I know of was I used the fans as lights, and I put one in the kitchen, and she couldn't use the stove, so I had to take that fan out of the kitchen. That fan light had to come out of the kitchen, and then she was able to use the stove. I put a different light that doesn't hang down in that room. This is the downstairs toilet and bathroom. Fortunately, I tested the house with her in it and discovered that she couldn't use the stove. It took me a while to work out what the problem was, but as soon as I removed that drop-down fan light that I had put into the kitchen just opposite the stove, then she was able to use the stove no problem. So that was fixed easily. And now she's got some cooking to do for her guests because we're going to have a party. Invite the whole population of the town, all 3 of them. Well, 5 now that we've got 2 extras, being Mary and Barbara. And I think some new ones might turn up that the game has decided to add. So I've got to get Don out of here fairly quickly before all of the empty houses get filled up. Of course, I think most of the empty houses won't be capable of being filled up because not many of them have been set up. They're just empty shells. I hear the guests are arriving. Barbara, Bart and Martin. There they are. There's Bart and Martin, Barbara. We're all set for a party. I think Carolyn should be coming too. They seem to be keen to eat the food. Lucky she read all those recipes. Barbara's not interested. She's just playing on her tablet. But she gets up and runs out of here, and she's moved to a whole new house. Left all the stuff in the house next door. Don't know what I'm going to do about that. I'll have to find some way of getting it to her. She's now living in an apartment building in the middle of the city, nowhere near her family and friends that she already knows. But she is an evil sim, and she's got her own ideas, I suppose. Well, that's Carolyn back there standing near the door in the long red pants. The blonde bloke she's turned up with, well, I've never seen him before. He's obviously somebody that the game has generated to try to populate the town a bit. Eventually the guests started making their way upstairs and making themselves at home in Mary's new house. Mary's there sitting in the sofa reading. You can just see her leg. Martin's enjoying watching her TV, and Carolyn's come up to have a chat with Mary. She's keen to get to know her new neighbour. Oh, and there's the new bloke. He's going to sit up here and eat his whatever it is he's got. It's good to see the house full of Sims enjoying themselves. Downstairs in the kitchen, Barbara and Bart are dancing. I wonder if there's a romance budding between them. I wonder why she moved out, because she was going to be living just across the road from Bart. There she goes, and as far as I can tell, the only thing she took with her from the house was that little green Twizzy that I gave her, and there is Mary's little blue Twizzy still parked in the driveway. I wondered if Barbara might have run off somewhere to meet up with Bart, but there he is sitting watching TV, so I don't know what's going on there. Carolyn and the blonde bloke suddenly realised there was something going on downstairs that they should go and watch. And when they got down there, discovered in the garden Mary was playing the guitar. So a little concert going on outside that they decided they needed to go and watch. I think Mary's going to enjoy herself in this new town. She's already met some new friends, and she's got an audience for her guitar. Eventually, all of the guests left except for one. It was getting late, but the one that was left was the new blonde bloke from who knows where. But Mary and the blonde bloke spent quite some time getting to know each other. They seem to be getting on very well. I wonder if there's a possibility for romance there. Who knows? I don't have a clue. All I can think of is I don't want any more strangers turning up in town, so it's time for Don to go home. So thank you for watching. This is the end of the video. If you've enjoyed it, please give it a like and subscribe if you haven't subscribed. And thank you for everybody who has subscribed. Next episode, we're going to have to try to solve the problem of Carl and his toadification. That could get complicated, especially if you've enjoyed watching an old series, the Isla Paradiso bunch. Things could get interesting with them being introduced into this series. Bye-bye for now, and happy simming.